Salutations one and all, this is my view of the official Rwby manga, chapter 15. And we open up with Rwby in a fairly dire situation. We have Team Rwby fighting against all these Grimm, and they're having a very hard time because there's just so many freaking Grimm. I mean, seriously, the main series, they got a little exhausted, but Rwby still referred to it as a piece of cake. And yet here, they're really struggling. The Whites need to create an ice barrier so they can all escape with their lives. You know, this makes a whole lot of sense. This is not a first-year mission. This mission was designed for second or third years. But Osmond made an exception for them because they are so goddamn special. So them struggling does make a whole lot of sense. And of course, good old Dr. Oobleck is not lifting a finger to help them whatsoever, and is instead standing on top of a crumbling building with a telescope looking all around him. Also giving a very pointed view to Team Rwby, trying to evaluate them while he's also evaluating the whole situation. You know, after this volume of the main series, Oobleck became, I wouldn't really say a favorite of mine, but definitely a very interesting character that I liked. The way he observes things, the way he's reading into things, the way he's questioning Team Rwby, it was all really exceptional way back then, and here he does it a bit differently, but I really like it too. And we also get this absolutely beautiful title page of blushing Blake in her dress. It's just, she looks so freaking adorable. Anyway, then Ruby's on guard duty, and the rest of the team is discussing what exactly they're supposed to be doing, how they're supposed to be searching for Torchwick and the White Fang when Oobleck barges in. It's very obvious to overheard their entire conversation, everything they have planned, but his bigger concern is with how he's being defined by them. They're saying that he's not a real huntsman because he's not fighting, because that's what huntsmen do. They fight, right? And he feels the need to correct them quite a bit about this, and even has to ask them exactly what kind of huntsman they want to become and what a huntsman really is. And why she says that the huntsman would not use students as human shield, and she wants to become a huntsman prouder and more virtuous than any other, a warrior who can annihilate evil in a flash, and this makes a lot of sense for her. I mean, for one thing, that's literally her own definition of her sister to a T. For another, she is a Schnee, the whole proud line, noble tradition, all that, which her father has pretty much dragged through the mud, shot multiple times, and then kicked off a cliff. And so, her goal is to become proud, honorable, virtuous, and restore honor to the Schnee name in her own way. Though I do kind of doubt that, no matter how honorable or noble the huntress she can become, it's really not going to eliminate all the terribly awful, awful things her father's done. For Blake, she wants to become someone who can fight against wickedness. And definitely a double meaning here. On one hand, she wants to, fight racism, find a way to stop humans from exploiting the faunus and all that. But on the other hand, there is another wickedness that's a little closer to home for her. Good old Adam. A person who cannot be allowed to roam free, and who she makes sure can't be allowed to roam free down the road. And finally, Yang wants to become a globe-trotting adventurer who doles out punishment to villains in style. And again, this makes a lot of sense for her. And she even said in the main series, she doesn't really care about being a hunter. She just wants to go on crazy, wild adventures, and helping people, saving lives is essentially a bonus to her. And of course, all three of these are completely wrong. Because the goal of a huntsman isn't to fight Grimm or kill monsters or take down criminals or anything like that. It's for the people. They are soldiers, warriors, defenders of the people, and that's their job, to save people no matter how it must be done. And I think the best example of this in all of Rwby was in the most recent volume. The very first job that John got as an officially licensed huntsman was walking kids to school. That's not noble, virtuous, it's not him fighting against wickedness, and it's not some crazy globe-trotting adventure. But it was his job. It was his mission as a huntsman, and he did it. And because of it, the people were saved. Because of it, the people developed faith in him. And that's exactly what a huntsman is supposed to do. To tell the people, it's okay, don't be afraid, I'm here, I will protect you, I will keep you safe. And I really never thought I'd say John is the ultimate epitome of what a huntsman's supposed to be, but okay. And this is even further emphasized by Ruby's answer. He asks what she thinks of the city, and her response is it's frustrating. So many people used to live here before the Grimm destroyed everything. So no matter how hard she tries, no matter how strong she gets, there are always people she can't protect, and that really frustrates her, but it also makes her want to get stronger, want to become more powerful, so that next time she can protect these people. And it's just such a perfect answer for so many reasons. Her goal isn't, fighting Grimm, stopping evil, any of that. It's to literally, so next time I can protect people. Yes, Rwby, that's the job of a huntsman. And what's more, her answer is literally, I want to learn from the past. And that's like Oobleck's entire thing. I mean, he goes in this whole long speech about how he can learn from the city, learn from how they fell, and use it to push forward, to do better, to grow. And that's exactly what Rwby's saying here. It's just so utterly perfect. I kind of wish he'd given her a little praise here, like, A+ answer, Miss Rose. But instead, he pats Zwei on the back and then walks away. I thought it was such a cute thing for him to do. We don't get the moment of him, like, praising Rwby for bringing Zwei because dogs are such a wonderful compatriot to Huntsman, but it was still a good moment here. I really like that. Meanwhile, the rest of Team Rwby is really freaking annoyed at Oobleck because he was all cryptic and he was criticizing them, but they don't know exactly what he was criticizing, what they get wrong, what don't they know about being a huntsman that they need to know. Not as good as it was in the main series, but I think it's a good first step. Maybe we'll see them finish this conversation after everything else that happens. I feel like that'd be a good moment for them to realize that their real goal was protecting the people rather than fighting the Grimm. It could be interesting. Anyway, then as Rwby finishes guard duty, she realizes, Zwei's missing! And of freaking course, he gets captured by the White Fang. Come on, Zwei. You're a huntsman's official dog. You should know better than being captured by the enemy. And just as Rwby goes to save him, she gets a gun pointed right at the back of her head. Now, I don't know exactly how strong a person's aura is, but something tells me a point-blank gunshot would do quite a bit of damage to her. And then she makes a really, really dumb mistake. She tells them to get their hands off of Zwei, which tells them, oh, this dog is important to her. We can use that. Oh, Rwby. It's an honorable mistake. If someone was holding my dog captive like that, I would brutally murder them as painfully and horrifically as humanly possible. So yeah, Rwby's captured, knocked unconscious, tied to a chair, has her tape mouth shut, and is brought into a very creepy room with Roman Torchwick. I do find it kind of interesting. I do find it kind of weird here because he says it's positively curious how she surrendered herself in exchange for her dog, then feels the need to assure her that Zwei is okay by saying, relax, I heard they didn't lay a finger on the mutts. That's not very villainous behavior right there, Torchwick. I mean, wouldn't be surprised if you said, oh no, they skinned Zwei alive and they're making coat out of him right now, or something along those lines. No, he feels the need to assure her that Zwei is okay. Strange move, but okay. And then, oh god, this next page. As Rwby is tied up with her mouth taped shut, she's told that she will be entertained by these very large masked men that are all surrounding her. Yeah, that's very, very creepy and bad and horrible in every way whatsoever. I mean, the only saving grace here is probably the fact that it doesn't look like Rwby is tied to the chair. Her hands are tied behind her back, and her mouth is taped shut, but she's not tied to the actual chair, and her feet are free. So she could still technically use her semblance to escape, run away really quick, even if she's tied up like this, which hopefully she does. And we saw something very similar to Volume 7 Rwby, another speed-based semblance user with her hands tied behind her back, still managed to put up a very impressive fight, even though she was tied up, and almost won. Anyway, then the rest of her team finds Zwei and realize, oh my gosh, if Zwei's here and Rwby's not here, she must have been captured by the enemy! Which, fairly good deduction. Impressive. And then Dr. Oobleck really shows his stuff here, because he wasn't just observing their battles today, he was analyzing the Grimm distribution patterns to find the exact point where the White Fang were hiding out. Which, okay, that is way more impressive than what I thought you were doing. Well, this is something else I really like. There are multiple underground cities, which explains quite a bit. I mean, when I remember first watching this, I'm like, okay, so you're in a place that has one underground city, and you can't find where all the bad guys are? Did you think about looking underground? But if there are multiple underground cities, that is a much different story. And searching through every last one to find the criminal gang that you're looking for would be very difficult, very dangerous, and almost certainly get you killed. I know what's expected of you. The headmaster thought you might manage to discover something, so he dispatched me to support your efforts. Okay, so Oobleck actually knows why the students came. That's always something I was a little curious about. What exactly Osmond told him? Did he just say, hey, Oobleck, I know you wanted second and third year students for this mission, but I'm sending these first year students because they keep stumbling into danger. It is almost a superpower for them how often they find themselves in the worst possible situation, so I think if you take them, they'll find something interesting. Also, Oobleck is just the absolutely perfect guy to send here. I can't believe I didn't realize that before I read this chapter. With his analyzation skills, with his understanding of history and knowledge, no one else but him could have found the enemy hideouts. I do love just this absolute look of terror on Yang's face when Oobleck says they should retreat for now, restock, and return later on with more allies, more weapons, and anything else that might need to raid an enemy base. But of course, Weiss and Blake don't listen to him whatsoever and say, alright, we're going to start scouting, we're going to find her right here, right now. And don't even notice the lever that opens up a secret passageway leading deep underground. And then he insults them a little bit for not keeping a cool head and finding the secret entrance themselves, but then tells them, I am a huntsman second and an educator first. There is no mission more important than protecting the lives of my students. Which, pretty badass line, Oobleck, Dr. Oobleck. I like that. So, the mission begins. They're going underground. They're going to find Rwby and fight the entire White Fang by themselves. This will be fun. So overall, this is a pretty good chapter. They took out a lot of dialogue between the characters. Some very important revelations they had about each other, but at the same time, they revealed quite a bit more about exactly what it is they want to do, who they want to become, and I like that. I'm still hoping that once this whole mess is cleared up, once they save Rwby, the backup beacon, they do have another moment where they actually have that conversation, where they actually discuss what it is they really want, what they want from the future. Partly because I really think Weiss and Blake need to have a little bit of a conversation about her father's business practices. Just saying. But even without that team bonding moment between them, I thought this was really good, and I'm really excited to see what happens next. Like I said, I think Rwby could still manage to escape. It looks like they didn't actually tie her to the chair, which hopefully is her way of escaping, and hopefully nothing else happens, because it's just, a very cringy situation for her to find herself in, and I don't want to know exactly what Torchwick meant when he told his men to have fun. Oh, that's just so bad. So very, very bad. But let me know that down below. What you think this chapter? What you think this adaptation? Do you think they're going to have that heart-to-heart moment when they get back? Do you think Ruby's going to find a way to escape on her own? Because I pray to God she is, and I don't want to imagine what would happen if she didn't. Let me think it all down below. Be sure to like, subscribe to the next video. And until then,
peace.